This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The time is 1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Dulmin Samarasinghe and read by Tilani Pires. 250 families affected by inclement weather. Many low-lying areas go underwater. Nelua Lankaga areas receive more than 200 millimeters of rain. Transport disrupted in many areas due to the collapsing of earth's mounds. The security forces joined to provide relief for the affected people. Kapruka National Program to plant 4 million coconut trees launched under the patronage of the President. The government emphasizes that the chemical fertilizer ban continues. Travel restrictions further relaxed, but inter-provincial restrictions continues. And on foreign news, the UN extends aid corridor to Syria. Sports, the UEFA President Alexander Safrin says Euro 2020 unfair on fans because of travel inequalities. About 1,000 individuals belonging to 256 families have been affected by the inclement weather. One person has died after being buried in an earth mound. Earth mounds have collapsed in Kandy and Nuwara districts. Irrigation department said that a minor flood situation has occurred in low-lying areas near Kalani, Kalu, Ging and Nilwala rivers. Nelua Lankagama area has experienced more than 200 millimeters of rain by this morning. The irrigation department said minor floods can take place at Vilivitiya, Divitura, Baddegama, Kotapala, Nelua, Tavalama, Akmimana, Nagoda, Alpitiya and Bope Poddala divisional secretariat areas. Minor floods can also occur in Dehiyobita, Sitavaka, Ruanwala, Dompe, Kaduala, Biagama, Kolonava and Wattala areas. Meanwhile, the Army and the Navy have joined to provide relief for those who have been affected. Nearly 100,000 people in Puttalama, Kurunagala, Kagala, Gampaha and Gaul districts are without electricity due to rains and strong winds. Restoration work of electricity has commenced. 5 places at Kitulgala, Yataberia area on the Hatton-Colombo Road have been blocked due to the collapsing of earth mounds. Measures have been taken to remove them. Dorin Dorata Kapruka National Program commenced at Bujampula Vilkatia estate belonging to the Chilau Plantations Company under the patronage of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Organic fertilizer production programs and programs using abandoned paddy fields for various crops commenced this morning to coincide with the event. 4 million coconut saplings are scheduled to be planted under the Dorin Dorata Kapruka National Program. Coconut saplings were planted at all districts today where coconuts are cultivated. The government has emphasized that the ban on chemical fertilizer is continued to be effective. The government says that media reports stating steps will be taken to import chemical fertilizer are totally false. Issuing a statement, the President's media division said that the decision of the President to promote using organic fertilizer and to ban chemical fertilizer has not been changed. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
People's Bank, celebrating 60 years of empowering the nation.
The Director General of Health Services, Dr. Sila Gunawardena, has issued an updated notice on the relaxation of existing travel restrictions and permitted public activities. Accordingly, existing travel restrictions will be further relaxed from today. However, the restrictions to limit interprovincial movement will be effective for a period of another 14 days. All government and private institutions have been urged to be responsible to ensure that their functions are in accordance with the new normalcy. They have been advised to continue operations with minimum staff for most essential functions. The head of the institution is authorized to decide on the exceptions to be made. Places of worship in all districts are allowed to remain open now that the restrictions are eased further. Wedding parties are permitted with the seating capacity limited to 25% or a maximum of 150 participants. Funerals, except COVID-19 related deaths, should be held within 24 hours of release of the body with a maximum of 50 participants. Essential meetings will be allowed only with 25% of the seating capacity. Permission has been granted to hold conferences, seminars and brand launches with a maximum of 50 participants. Public transportation services are advised to operate island-wide with the seating capacity limited to 50%. However, only 30% of the seating capacity is allowed within the Western Province. Health officials have also decided to permit economic centres to carry out wholesale operations under strict health guidelines. Meanwhile, mobile vendors, street vendors and retail shops, grocery shops, bakeries and pastry shops have been authorized to function under health guidelines. Supermarkets will remain open with a maximum of 25% of total customers that can be accommodated in the space available at a given time. Tailors and dressmakers, communication and photocopy shops, and other retail service-related shops, furniture shops, laundry services, hardware shops, libraries, dining-in restaurants, spas, hotels and rest houses are allowed to operate under the health guidelines. Meanwhile, beauty salons and barber shops are permitted to continue services by appointments only. Prisons and care homes will remain closed for visitors further. Dr. Asila Gunawardena stated that group activities will not be given permission. However, individual training is allowed under the guidelines on sports and sporting events issued by the Health Ministry. Gymnasiums, indoor sporting centres, swimming pools will remain open for the public during this period. Walkways will also be opened, however, only for individual exercises. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has inspected the Horanamilava estate where the proposed Borella prison complex is scheduled to be established. The president exchanged views with the residents of the estate. He instructed officials to take immediate steps to pay them compensation and to provide houses for the properties they would lose due to constructions. 200 acres of the land belonging to the Urban Development Authority have been allocated for the project. Valikada Prison, Colombo Remand Prison, New Magazine Prison, Prison Hospital, Training School, Prison Intelligence Unit and the Community Rehabilitation Department are scheduled to be located at this place. State Minister Nalaka Godaheva said that special attention has been paid on the welfare of the prisoners throughout the project. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa engaged in religious observances at the Kataragama Kirivehera yesterday. The Prime Minister received the blessings of the Chief Sanganayaka of Ruhunu Magampattuwe and Chief Prelate of the Kirivehera Rajamahaviharaya, the Venerable Dr. Kobavaka Damminda Thera. The Mahasangha chanted Set Spirit near the Kirivehera and invoked blessings on the Prime Minister. That ends local news for now.
Towards a new dimension in innovation, People's Bank, celebrating 60 years of empowering the nation.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The Asian Development Bank and the Government of Sri Lanka signed loan agreements for $150 million under the Asia-Pacific Vaccine Access Facility for the procurement of vaccines and other related consumables. The loan is part of ADB's $9 billion Asia-Pacific Vaccine Access Facility launched in December 2020 to offer rapid and equitable vaccine-related support to ADB developing member countries. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhaleba.
And on Watch Light this afternoon, the Tourism Minister Prasanna Ranatunga said a new PCR testing laboratory will be set up at the Bandaranaike International Airport, Katunaika, for passengers during the next 3 weeks with the aim of providing PCR test results within 3 hours. The vaccination program for those engaged in the tourism sector will also commence today. Accordingly, over 5 million in the tourism sector will be administered the COVID-19 vaccine. That came to you in Watch Light. And now we continue with world news and the headlines first. The UN extends aid corridor to Syria. Torrential rain lashes Japan. White House defense role in Hunter Biden art sale. The UN Security Council has unanimously agreed to extend a resolution allowing the transport of humanitarian aid from Turkey to war-torn Syria. The resolution, which was due to expire today, authorizes a land corridor to deliver food, medical and other supplies from neighboring Turkey into northwestern Syria. The area is home to some 3 million people who have fled attacks by President Bashar al-Assad's forces or being otherwise displaced. Torrential rain has lashed the southwestern part of Japan, where the officials issued the highest emergency alert for Kagoshima, Miyazaki and Kumamoto prefectures early today. They have now changed that to a warning for all 3 areas, but they say the risk of flooding and landslides remains, so people should continue to exercise caution. Residents in Kagoshima watched as torrents of water gushed through the streets. The White House has defended its role in helping to broker a deal that will shroud art deals by President Joe Biden's son in secrecy. Paintings by Hunter Biden are expected to fetch up to $500,000 apiece at an auction this autumn. The president's spokeswoman said reasonable safeguards had been applied to the upcoming sale. But a former White House ethics chief said the arrangement was very disappointing. Back to the world news headlines. The UN extends aid corridor to Syria. Torrential rain lashes Japan. White House defense role in Hunter Biden art sale. That ends world news.
Development News is brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, number 1 in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
And on development news, Sports and Youth Affairs Minister and Digital Technology Enterprise Development State Minister Namal Rajapaksa said business bank loan facilities for internet and social media creators will be introduced. He said a procedure in this regard will be introduced shortly. Minister Rajapaksa mentioned this when he participated at a function to introduce the online digital marketplace system of the Colombo Business Association. One Mart app, Discard business card and Around.lk digital directory. That was development news.
Development News was brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, number 1 in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
Moving on with sports news, the UEFA President Alexander Safrin says Euro 2020 has been unfair for fans and a challenge for teams because of the vast difference in distances they have had to travel during the tournament. England play Italy in Sunday's final at Wembley after a championship that has been played in cities in 11 countries. Switzerland travelled the furthest, 15,485 kilometres, while Scotland clocked up the shortest at 1,108 kilometers. That came to you in sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
RIL Property has acquired 62% of renewable energy player Pan Asian Power PLC for 1.65 billion rupees. RIL Property acquired 385.5 million shares of Pan Asian Power through multiple crossings on the Colombo Stock Exchange at a price of ₹4.30. That ends business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of ₹1,000 from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
And on economic news, the United States is contributing to Sri Lanka's economic resilience through the provision of a financial facility of $150 million. The facility, awarded by the United States International Development Finance Corporation to DFCC Bank as a bilateral loan, will go towards the local micro, small and medium enterprise sector, as well as women-led enterprises in Sri Lanka. That's economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
And now to conclude the weather report, the Met Department says showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the western, central, Sabaragamuwa, northwestern and southern provinces. Heavy showers above 100 millimeters can be expected at some places in the western and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in Kandy, Nuwara, Galle and Mathura districts. A few showers will occur at north central province. Showers or thunder showers will occur at a few places in the eastern and Uva provinces during the evening or night. Strong gusty winds up to 60 kilometers per hour are likely at times over the western slopes of the central hills, and gusty winds up to 50 kilometers per hour at times are likely at northern, north central, northwestern and southern provinces, Trincomalee district and western coastal areas. That came to in our weather report.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
And now to end this news broadcast, the main points once again. 250 families affected by inclement weather. Many low-lying areas go underwater. Nellore Lankagama area receives more than 200 millimeters of rain. Transport disrupted in many areas due to the collapsing of earth's mounds. The security forces joined to provide relief for the affected people. Kapruka National Program to plant 4 million coconut trees launched under the patronage of the President. The government emphasizes that the chemical fertilizer ban continues. Travel restrictions further relaxed, but inter-provincial restrictions continue. And on foreign news, the UN extends aid corridor to Syria. And on sports news, the UEFA President Alexander Safrin says Euro 2020 unfair on fans because of travel inequalities. That ends this news broadcast.